He's a myth, he's a legend, he's loved worldwide by children and adults alike. But does anyone truly know the origins of Santa Claus? Ho, 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 ho! Welcome everybody to another exciting episode, another edition of A Week in Geekdom here on YouTube. This time we're reviewing Klaus, the epic story of one Kris Kringle, or I should say, Mr. Santa Claus. Let's do this. Welcome everybody to another exciting episode, another edition of A Week in Geekdom here on YouTube. I am your host, Giovannie Menendez, and this is a Christmassy edition. There's old Saint Nick right there in pillow form in all of his splendor. Yeah, we're doing this. It's my very first Christmas video here on YouTube, and I wanted to talk about something that I was really comfortable with, and of course that is the subject of Santa Claus. Who doesn't love Santa? I love the holiday season, specifically Christmas and all the parties and all that cool stuff that happens on the month of December. Or unless you live down south in Puerto Rico, then it goes from Thanksgiving all the way to January 6th with the Epiphany and the Three Kings. So yes, it's a very long ass holiday season. Then what better way to spend it than by reading some cool books? This time, Klaus by Grant Morrison. Now, this isn't too crazy on the crazy Grant Morrison scale. This is fairly tame with art by Dan Mora. I must admit, I am a noob when it comes to Dan, and I was blown away. I loved his art. It's very expressive, very colorful, very bright, pretty, and to me, this whole book reads like this DLC version of an Assassin's Creed game mixed with 90s Disney animation movies and a little bit of anime gusto here and there. I don't know. It makes sense in my head. I don't know about you guys. But yes, Klaus tells the origin story of Santa in a very spectacular, bombastic, manly sort of way with, the book says it on the back as well, with exploring his Viking lore roots and shamanism and all that stuff. It deals with magic and with the idea, the bare concepts of what makes Santa Claus such an endearing figure for kids worldwide. Everybody likes Santa. Everybody likes to wake up on December 25th and find their presents under their tree. I know I do. Santa is this otherworldly figure that goes around for one night delivering presents for all the good kids and everybody else, even the parents. They get some love too. Morrison provides a very simple, cool explanation as to how Santa Claus came to be, and this book does a really fun job of doing it. One of the magical things about this book that Grant is able to do is incorporate themes of childhood, magic, and the way the act of gift giving for the sake of gift giving and spreading happiness can make for a better society and a better rekindling of the human spirit. In this European winter town of Grimsvig, and the character is a wild man selling skin and pellets and all that stuff, fur trade, if you will, with his trusty wolf. And he ventures into this town that has been devoid of all fun. Yuletime celebration is banned. There's no toys for kids, and the adults have to work in the coal mines, digging up something or extracting hundreds of tons of coal. But at the same time, you find out that there's something underneath the ground that the evil figure in this book, the leader of this town, wants to uncover. And you get this mystery of what the heck is in there. Now, I had my ideas and my speculations, but I did not read the back of the book, which pretty much spoils it. So if you don't want to find out, I won't say what it is, but it's pretty cool, and it's one of my favorite aspects of Christmas and the history of the tradition. And when I did find out, the story just elevated tenfold for me. It was that much cooler, that much more badass. And Grant does a fantastic job of streamlining things where everybody can pick this up and enjoy it. Kids can enjoy it. Adults, just give it out to somebody. And I promise you that they will take some enjoyment out of it, because it is a story that everybody can relate to. about a town being oppressed and not being able to express their full happiness with a holiday such as Christmas, or in this case, Yuletime. And in comes this character, Klaus, with spectacular gifts for all the kids, and the town guards and the leader is really upset about this. Comes down to this government oppression on things that are joyful, and we even get the rune for joy being written, the posters of the leader of the town, and on the snow-covered field in the town square and all that stuff, sort of as a protest, if you will. The action in this book is fierce. When it comes down to it, Klaus is a badass, and he looks the part easily. I mean, check this out from the very first image right there. And this book does a really cool job of presenting this character that is both fierce, heartwarming, nice, but when it comes down to it, if he has to kick some butt, he will do it. And when you find out who the main antagonist at the end of everything is, you're going to be rooting for Santa, because it was just balls to the wall action, badass, with very, very spectacular visuals. And here's some of that visual flair that I was talking about. Just really cool stuff. Like I mentioned, the art is simply superb. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful panels, beautiful coloring. Just a fantastic job with the line work and the way everything is structured. Dan just really does a cool job. This is one of my favorite covers from the, I think it's just 7 issues. There are a couple of one-shots that are not included in here, but they're not necessary to enjoy the full story. They're just extra add-ons that were published later on. This book collects the original 7 issues, and it does a fantastic job at it. Look at this. Look at the backgrounds, the detail. Really fun stuff. It does present a sense of wonder and mysticism over an origin story. And it's cool to see somebody like Santa Claus get an origin story that's not super hokey, but at the same time kind of badass and fun. Lord Magnus is the town leader, I guess, and the character is quite one-dimensional simply because he's so obsessed with censoring any sort of celebration in Grimsvig. And it's not until a character like Klaus comes in where this conflict first starts. And his son, Lord Jonas, I believe his name was, starts out as a fairly typical rich kid, if you will, where he just wants toys, and all the gifts are donated to him because, well, the crown can have Christmas or Yuletime, but not the townspeople. That by the end of it, you do care about what happens to these characters, because there's something old-timey and fashion about a story set in wintertime, and of course being Christmas themed and all that stuff. I guess the main lesson that you learn from this book from Klaus is that everybody deserves to be a little happy, especially around troubling times like we live in today. And I think the book exemplifies that in a very fun and cheery sort of way. As for extras, in case you're wondering, the book doesn't really have anything, just all the variants and covers and all that stuff like this. So on that part, I was a little disappointed. I kind of maybe wanted a little bit more. As for main negatives with the book, I would say that from the start of the story, Santa becomes Santa fairly quickly. Like, once he starts, and I'm not spoiling anything, but once he starts delivering gifts to the oppressed children in this town, suddenly everybody's like, oh, the Santa's doing it. I am under the impression that technically, since this is an origin story, Santa doesn't exist yet. So I thought that was, at least for me, that was a little bit weird. But later on, the story picks up pretty quickly, and when you get, like I mentioned at the beginning, when you get that reveal for the main villain, it just intensifies into a fantastic, epic fight, brawl. I was blown away by it, plus the conclusion, it left me a little misty-eyed, because it's my favorite holiday, and it brings me back. Nostalgia can be a bitch, especially when you're talking about happy times with Santa and Christmas. So yeah, I would give this 1,000,000 out of 1,000,000, 5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it. I don't really do ratings on this channel. I just tell them like it is, and I love Klaus, a fantastic addition to your library if you want to have fun, if you want to read about Santa Claus, and if you want to remember the good old times with a dosage of badassery, then go ahead and pick this up. It is that fantastic. So yeah, guys, tell me down below what you thought of Klaus, and I'm interested in knowing what other holiday or festive characters would you like to see translated into comic book form. Let me know down below. As always, guys, thank you so much for subscribing, liking, commenting, every single thing, every single video here on YouTube. It really means the world to me. As always, you can follow me on your favorite social media platform. Just type a week in Geekdom and I'm there for you. Alright, I gotta go. I will catch all of you on our next video. Have a safe, beautiful, happy Christmas. God bless, and I will catch all of you later. Bye. And what better way to spend it than blah 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 blah.